Alan Shearer, welcome to the Sports Agents on the eve of what feels to me, I don't know if you agree, like one of the most exciting build-ups to a Premier League season for a long time.
Yeah, I think because of the money that's been spent again, the teams that are trying to catch up, trying to catch Liverpool. Liverpool have gone again and spent an absolute fortune. And the chasing pack must look up to Chelsea, City, Arsenal, and Liverpool and think, what chance have we got to because when they look at the funds that they've shelled out again this
Mm.
summer, yeah, it's going to be really, really difficult for everyone has got any ambition to get in and around the top four because, yeah, those clubs are just in different leagues in terms of spending now.
Okay, you've brought me straight onto it. It's the elephant in the room, and one of those clubs that's chasing must have thought 6 months ago that they were
Yeah.
absolutely on the right track. Newcastle United winning the trophy that they've coveted for so long, feeling like they had a great squad of players they could add to, and obviously they've been sticking by the rules in terms of financial fair play, which not everybody else does, and it seems like it's biting them on the backside. And when it comes to the situation that's going on with Alexander Isak, that plays a part of that, doesn't it, in terms of his
Yeah.
value?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's what should have been a time for Newcastle to really kick on with having a great season last season, winning their first trophy. We were there, weren't we? 70 years domestic trophy at Wembley, qualifying for the Champions League, and then being linked with some really, really talented players. I know they've got a few in, but it's been a tough pre-season for them up to now, and one of the main reasons for that is the Isak situation. We haven't heard him talk. I
Mm.
guess there's always two sides to every story. But if we're to believe what's being put out there, then maybe the club, from his point of view, have gone back on a promise with a contract. I don't know. There's so many moving parts to it, but it's still not a good look
No.
for him or for Newcastle. You have to feel sorry for Eddie Howe. I mean, his plans have been thrown right up into the air. He's gone into the first game of the season without one of, if not his best player, certainly his best forward, through no fault of his own.
Mm.
I don't think it's helped that Newcastle haven't got a chief executive or a director of football who's
That's
leading.
incredible, isn't
It
it?
is because I think it was last September Darren Eales announced that he was going to be leaving for
Mm.
for health reasons,
Mm.
and for no one to be in that position at this moment in time. I don't know whether that's been a hindrance on trying to get players in, whether they've not been able to get answers or lack of communication. I don't know, but that isn't a good look either. But on the pitch, it's been incredibly difficult last 3 or 4 weeks for Eddie Howe.
In terms of Alexander Isak's behaviour, David Ornstein was on the podcast earlier this week talking about many different transfer moves and machinations, and was very unequivocal that his sources said that basically he was the one that said, I'm not training, I want to move, and that is a difficult thing for any manager to hear, for any club to hear, for any fan to hear who's invested so much in Isak as
Mm.
well. And I've heard so much debate kind of in the fallout of that, people saying, well, it's what every player would do, they're looking for their best value. It's hard as a fan though, isn't it, to kind of feel the the love that you've had for a player,
Mm.
and I'm sure many fans have that across all kinds of levels of Premier League and lower leagues. How do you feel as a fan of Newcastle United about Alexander Isak right now?
Yeah, I don't like it. I really don't, because Newcastle are the one that's going to be punished, the football club, and the football club is always bigger than any individual. The football club is always there. Individuals move and shift on, and I get. I've been in the game long enough, and you know the game as well as I do, Gabby, that loyalty is a difficult word in football. When a club wants to get rid of you as a player, they get rid of you. But on the other way around, when a player wants to leave, it can become very difficult. And there's ways to do it. And at the minute, I don't think, and many, many thousands of Newcastle fans don't think that he's doing it the right way. There are ways to go about trying to get out of a football club. Refusing to play and not going on trips is not the right way to do that, and it's not a good look. And there are so many. I look at it one day and I think we've got to get rid of him. We've got to get him out. You can't have a player who doesn't want to be there. And then the next minute I think, well, hang on, you actually can't do that until you've got a replacement in there. Otherwise, the football team and the players, through no fault of their own, they're all going to suffer as well if that happens. So
Mm.
it's a really, really difficult situation through no fault of any fan or the manager or the other players that are going to be busting a gut on Saturday lunchtime
Mm.
at Villa Park to try and get 3 points.
And in terms of, I mean, he kind of is probably the standout story in terms of dominating the headlines because it's had ramifications on other transfers in terms of
Yeah.
other strikers. Strikers seem to be the key position this summer, don't they? In terms
They're
of
always
clubs.
the key position.
Who's excited you most? Which move, which player, and who's going to have the biggest impact?
When you're right about the centre forwards, because there's forwards win games and score goals, and that's why they get paid the most, and that's why they cost the most. And I'm fascinated to see how Arsenal do with Gyökeres. I'm fascinated to see how Manchester United do with Šeško, because these guys have scored a lot of goals, but they've never scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, and that's the big thing: is can they come because yes, you're buying potential, but these guys have to do it now. Arsenal have bought Gyökeres to win the title, basically.
Mm.
Man United have bought Šeško because they were rubbish last year, and they need a centre forward who's going to put the ball on the back of the net. Not in 2 years' time, not in 3 years' time, but now. And I think particularly those two, because of the fees and because of the size of the football club that they've joined, then I'm really interested to see how they go.
We've already had one big competitive fixture, and it all went a bit Spursy, didn't it? Really, for Tottenham. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that Thomas Frank can only change so much in such a short period of time. But on 80 minutes, it was looking really good for them,
Mm.
and it looked like they were playing a style of football that he'd already kind of tweaked and put his own mark on.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to judge because PSG, I think, have only been back in, and Luis Enrique has said about a week, hadn't he, in
Hmm.
terms of training. So obviously they're not up to speed, and it's going to take them a little bit of time. But in those 80 minutes, Spurs looked really, really good and really impressive. I've no doubt they'll improve on last year's position. They have to, very much like Manchester United will in terms of their position. Whether they've got enough to get into the top 6 or 7 remains to be seen.
Of course, Chevalier came in for Donnarumma and had a few moments where he looked as if he was just finding his feet for PSG. And then Donnarumma, remarkably, I believe still only 26 years old. It feels like
Mm,
he's 36, doesn't he?
incredible, isn't it? Yeah.
Playing first team football, of course, at the age of 16. I
He
suppose
was
that.
an example of he's an example of what I said earlier about a club wanting to get rid of a player. I
Yeah,
mean, after
did.
what that team and
Yeah.
what he did
Well, he's remarkable
last
saves.
season, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
incredible. I mean, and then all of a sudden, sorry mate, we don't want you anymore. You're out. Find a new club. See you later. We're
So
bringing someone else in, and he's going to play.
will we see him in the Premier League, do you think? Does he suit
Um,
Manchester City? Does he suit, I mean, I even heard Manchester United?
yeah, he's without doubt he's a top class goalkeeper. Whether that's a priority for Man City with what they've got, they've already invested in James Trafford, and one of Newcastle's targets gone to Man City. So how you can imagine how he would feel if they went out and signed Donnarumma. But yeah, he would improve Manchester United. I'm pretty sure of that. So I think that's certainly one to watch, and he wouldn't be out of place at playing in the Premier League. There's no doubt about that.
So we've asked our listeners their predictions for the season ahead, and Liverpool was the most popular answer in terms of winning the title. Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United. Manchester United tied for second. I know they're so loyal,
Really?
aren't they? Um, are City still a bit of an unknown quantity, or for you, do they sit as the challenger for Liverpool?
Yeah, they're a challenger. I don't. I would have Liverpool winning it. Arsenal, City, and Chelsea in that order. Still, I mean, Rodri's looks as if he's had a bit of a setback with another injury. So we saw how much they missed him
Mm.
last year. Whether those new players can come in straight away and take them back to the level that we're so used to seeing them. Um, but I don't see them clicking straight away, and I may be wrong. I don't see them having enough to win the title.
I think one of the answers that came through on Instagram, manager to get sacked first was Pep Guardiola, which I think was somebody being a little bit facetious. Um, it It is interesting times for him, though, isn't it? To commit yourself as he did, when he could have walked away,
Mm,
he obviously feels there's something unfinished
yeah.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could stay with some, I don't know, with some aggression. That I don't think Pep will be sacked. If Pep leaves, it'll be
On his
because he
terms.
on his terms, yeah. And that would be absolutely right if that was the case after what he's achieved. But they set the bar. I mean, they have been incredible, haven't they? And what he's done and what they have achieved, and he must feel himself. I mean, they've got other things that is out of his control and our
Hmm.
control in terms of the charges as well. But he's obviously very confident that they can get through that. Otherwise, he wouldn't be here. But I don't think we'll see City dominate and City do what they have done in the years gone by in recent seasons.
Which makes it all the more exciting, doesn't it? And
Absolutely,
what we
absolutely.
want is what you had at Blackburn Rovers. We want a season that goes down to the final day. That is what everybody in football loves, don't they? That final day jeopardy. And it feels like that's last season. It just missed that, didn't it? Both at the top and the
Yeah,
bottom.
unless you're a player, then it's very different when you're playing, and it's a bit more nerve-wracking. But for fans, yeah, that's what we want. We want it to go down to the wire. I mean, Liverpool wanted a canter last year, didn't they? No one put them under pressure for the last few weeks. They took the foot off the gas and were brilliant for most of the season. And when you look at what they've added, I mean, I know they didn't look the real deal in the Community Shield last weekend. First half, they were good. Second half, Palace really outplayed them and deserved to get the victory. So Liverpool will get better, and I think all of those clubs chasing. I don't see anyone breaking into the top four. I think that will be the top four when you see. I said earlier, didn't I, about what they've spent.
Mm.
Those four, I think, will be going head to head most weekends, and those four are the ones that are going to challenge.
Who's the Nottingham Forest this season? Who's the kind of surprise interloper?
It depends on Palace. If Palace can keep hold of Eze and see what happens with Gahey, whether he stays for the season and goes for free at the end of the season, or whether they decide to cash in on him in the next couple of weeks, we'll have to wait and see. But if he could keep hold of those two, then Palace are a really good team. So they could be one of the surprises. But it's if they can keep hold of a couple of their big players.
And then down at the other end of the table, I believe the promoted sides have spent more collectively than has been spent by promoted sides in history. So
Yeah.
they're all kind of aggressively looking to improve their squads. They're going to have to change their style of football, perhaps as well, tweak that if they're going to compete in the Premier League. At least a couple of
Mm.
them. Who of the three do you see being the one that can buck the trend of the last couple of seasons of the three going up, going down?
Well, Burnley, I don't think will change their style of play. I think Scott will do what he did last season in terms of try and sit in, try and soak up pressure. Obviously, it's very going to be very different to what he faced last year in terms of the quality. Sunderland have spent an absolute fortune, brought so many players in, so they're giving it a right good go. But I think if there's one that's got an opportunity, I think, because of Ellen Road, because of the atmosphere and what it generates, and how mad they are there in terms of roaring their team on. I think if there's one that can get out of it this year, it might just be Leeds.
Go on, Alan. My second team.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it is an atmosphere that I think
yeah.
every other fan, if you like, enjoys that atmosphere at Elland Road. And finally, next weekend, the second weekend, already there's a huge fixture in Newcastle Liverpool, which has been
Mm.
a great fixture over the last few seasons, not least the Carabao Cup final. Um, Atmosphere at St James's Park with everything that's going on is going to be intense.
It's going to be great as well. I'll be there because it's a Monday evening, so I'm not working on that Monday evening. So with it not being at the weekend, I'm able to go to that game, and I think for obvious reasons it'll be a little bit more spiky than it normally is, because obviously Liverpool have put the bid in for Isak, which they were never going to get him for that amount. I think it was 110 million. They were never going to get him for that. So I think on and off the pitch it'll be a little bit spiky.
Okay, well, hopefully more of that to come as well throughout the season. Great to talk to you. Just finally, do you get as excited as ever? Do you get the kind of
Yeah,
tingles even
I do.
at, I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
had a
can't
birthday
wait.
yesterday.
Yeah,
You're getting on
it's
a
been a
bit.
long summer. Thanks. It's been a long summer. That I mean, I know we had the Club World Cup, but you can't beat the excitement of the Premier League. And there's so many ifs and buts and how and maybes and all of
Mm.
that. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really really excited for it.
And finally, obviously, there's a new person in the hot seat on Match of the Day.
Yeah,
Well, there'll be three new
it's
people,
three
as you
new
know,
people.
three
Yeah.
new people, yeah, over the next words of advice as somebody who's sat there for so many years now.
How can I give you guys advice? I mean, you guys are under far more pressure than what we are. You've got the most difficult job, but
Oh,
you've been doing it. You've been doing that, and Kelly has, and Mark has for years. So I can't give you any advice. You're all masters at your own trade. You don't need any help from me.
I thought you were going to say bring the snacks or something. Anyway, I will see you in a green room watching lots
Yeah,
of Premier League football very, very
absolutely.
soon. Take care,
Look
Alan.
forward to
Thanks
it.
so much for
Thank
giving
you.
us the time.
The Sports Agents.
With Gabby Logan and Mark Chapman.